Northwest Profiles, presented by CarStar. Cars are more than just metal. They're our friend, and our best friend's best friend. When something happens to them, you can depend on CarStar for collision, glass, and auto care. CarStar, where accidents unhappen.
The Metro Edmonton area is alive with the diverse culture and creativity of over 1 million residents. Not far to the east, another area is humming with life. There are fewer people, but still many inhabitants. A collection of lakes and landscapes make up the area known as the Beaver Hills Biosphere, which includes Elk Island National Park.
Originally, Elk Island National Park was Elk Park, and it started back in about 1906, right at the turn of the homesteading area in this part of the world. And there was a remnant herd of elk, so they erected a fence right here in the Stoughton Lake area, and they slowly herded this herd of elk into this enclosure and captured about 70 to 75 of them, and then quickly put the fence up. And then a few years later, in 1911, it became a national park, and it became Elk Island National Park.
Bison are also prime residents in Beaver Hills.
I think people really enjoy coming out and seeing them roam free within the park. You can come out here on any given day and be lucky to have a whole herd of them cross the road right in front of you. Of course, that also makes it important for us to get the message out there that people need to be very careful, because they do just freely walk around within the park, even crossing the roads. And so we ask people to be very careful about and very conscious of that.
Beaver Hills covers about 2,400 square kilometers, or just over 900 square miles, a natural area that has become Canada's 18th biosphere.
A biosphere is a sustainable, working, living community. People tend to think of a biosphere as some type of sacred, protected area where people don't go into and you leave it alone. Well, that is part of it. We live in an area that's called the Edmonton Capital Region. And just to the west of us here, there's a region that has over 1.5 million people. We have Canada's largest oil and gas producing facilities here, the industrial heartland, just to the north of where we are today. But those types of things have a lot of impact. So what we take away, we can replace by having areas like the Beaver Hills and the Beaver Hills Biosphere, because these landscapes have been highly impacted by man over the last 150 years. All the wildlife and things that we see today were virtually gone. So we've rebuilt that, and again, it shows that we can have urban cities and we can have industrial areas. We like to say the four-legged approach, where you've got environment, economy, the social issue, and cultural, and we compare that to a stool. So if you take any one of them away, the stool will fall over. So each one is just as important to the other. You don't say, well, the economics is the factor or the environment is the factor. They all have to work together.
At the southern end of Beaver Hills is Miquelon Lake, which offers campers and visitors the chance to be at the middle of 3 migratory bird flyways.
And so we have hundreds of thousands of birds here. So back before the 1930s, we had a very healthy nesting population of pelicans in the lake. One year, a local farmer didn't want the pelicans on the island anymore and decided to release his pigs on the island, and it chased all the pelicans off. And they hadn't been back since. So in 2016 was the first time the pelicans returned to Miquelon Lake, out to Pelican Island, and we have a very healthy population of breeding now pelicans, and so we do have the baby pelicans out there in the spring. It's an important area out there that we try to keep the public aware of so that they're not disturbing the site, but it's pretty exciting to have the pelicans return to this area where they haven't been since the 1930s.
Also at Miquelon Lake, students from the University of Alberta Augustana campus in Camrose conduct field studies in environmental sciences.
So our projects range from ants to snakes, beavers to muskrat, waterfowl to shorebirds. It's a wonderful natural laboratory. We have students out in boats, chest waders, on bicycles, setting up trail cameras, looking at the biodiversity here. This is just a great way to get experiential learning, have the students fully engaged in their environment. And when they're not doing their research, they're out exploring and taking photos of everything from owls to invertebrates, and they're coming back and sharing those sightings with all their friends over the campfire and around the dinner table.
And the diameter is 24.5 centimeters of this big guy.
And basically what we're doing is being offered the opportunity to partake in a research project in the field, learn a lot of practical skills, get out into nature and actually put into practice things that we've learned over the last few years in a variety of different environmental courses, as well as learn a bunch of new skills as well that perhaps we had no idea about before. And it's been a really cool opportunity to actually get out and see what has been named this new biosphere, not just hear about it through the books and through the newspapers, but actually get out and work and practice in it and practice good researching skills, which has been really cool.
In 2016, Beaver Hills became a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, recognized Beaver Hills for its work to ensure human activity that's ecologically and economically sustainable.
One thing that came out with a meeting with the UNESCO people is they were thrilled to see our students presenting and to hear their passion for research, and that they really are the future of this biosphere, that they will be the ones making the decisions later into the future, and that there's a good range of ages and experience in appreciating the biosphere overall.
It gives me a huge satisfaction in my job. I'm very proud to work here. I'm very proud to be a part of this conservation story and to be a part of this park and Parks Canada as a whole.
We need these natural areas that produce the clean air and give us that day off where we can come out and relax and look at the trees and look at wildlife. It gets right back to that whole sphere component of everything has to be connected. Not one piece is more important than the other. It's all one unit. And I think it's an excellent reflection of this community and the people that live here and the people of the province and people in the world. The biosphere isn't just local, it's for everyone.
If you have an idea for Northwest Profiles, send it to KSPS TV, 3911 South Regal, Spokane, Washington 99223. Northwest Profiles is a presentation of KSPS Public Television.